Hi, I'm Ryan Bridge, and I'm excited to host a new podcast called Bridge Talks Business with Milford, where I'll be talking about, well, business, obviously. Every week, I'll be joined by one of Milford's team of analysts, fund managers, and financial experts to cover key business events. It'll be your go-to for insights on the markets, business, and the economy, both here and overseas, as we dig a little deeper into the business week. Join me for Bridge Talks Business with Milford. Subscribe on iHeart or wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss an episode. All discussions are informational only and should not be considered financial advice.
You're listening to the Weekend Sport Podcast with Jason Pine from News Talk ZB.
The Black Caps, I think you'd say, on the back foot after 3 days of the opening cricket test against Sri Lanka in Galle. Sri Lanka 237 for 4 in their second innings. That's a lead of 202 runs with 2 days to play. Will O'Rourke, as mentioned before, has been the best of the New Zealand bowlers by quite some distance.
Gone! Brilliant! How good! It was a delayed decision to get that leg slip in place. Edge gone, that's a big one. This boy. New Zealand go bang, bang and bang.
Yeah, Will O'Rourke taking 3 of the 4 second innings wickets to fall to have 8 for the match so far. Yesterday was a rest day for the Sri Lankan presidential elections. Day 4 is underway in just over a couple of hours' time. Former Black Caps paceman Mitch McClenaghan is part of the commentary team in Galle, and he joins us now. Let's start with the positives, Mitch, and well, Will O'Rourke's the obvious one. What has impressed you most about Will O'Rourke's bowling in this test match so far?
That he's taken wickets, first and foremost. It's sensational for a fast bowler to do what he's done in these conditions. I know that they tried to make this wicket a little bit flatter than they usually would here in Galle because they've just come back from England, that 3-match series against England where they won that last test. And they were a little bit concerned from a Sri Lankan point of view that they weren't going to be used to their own conditions. And that aided Will. There was a little bit extra bounce, particularly from the 4th end on day 1. But what was amazing to see was the amount of late movement he got off the surface as well. Just a little bit of swing. And when it swings late into the surface, it keeps on going. It reminds me a bit of Lockie Ferguson with the white ball when he gets that new ball. It always keeps on coming back at the right-hander. And you know, players like Angelo Matthews don't like it on the back foot, and he dominated straight away. So that was impressive to see. And I guess throughout, it's just the intent to keep on coming back. Look, he's not going to hit the same spot all the time. He's only young in his cricketing career, and there's going to be a few wayward deliveries. But in between that, there's some seriously good cricketing deliveries at this level. So the skills he's possessed and his ability to also just have those conversations with Tim Southey, and you can see how they're working together to try and figure guys out and set fields, as we saw late last night with that catch, Tom Latham at leg gully. Just little plans like that. It looks like he's learning very quickly on the job.
He's bowled just 12 overs in the second innings. The second innings has had 72 overs so far. Is this good management of Will O'Rourke, or is this underuse of Will O'Rourke?
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? Because he is only 3 test matches into his career. He's coming back from an injury. We know pulled up in that last test that test in Wellington against Australia. So you're obviously concerned that the workload at this level may be a little bit step too far, particularly in these conditions. It's hot. It's hot out there. The ground's soft, so it is difficult for fast bowlers. Look, I think they've probably used him pretty well. There was a period yesterday in particular where the game just started to meander along and go at the pace that the Sri Lankans like to play their test cricket. They don't want to be rushed. They just want to knock it around and take it pretty cruisy. And there might have been an argument to bring him back maybe 5 or 6 overs earlier to try and spark the New Zealand bowling innings into a bit of life, because at the moment he's the only one who really seems to lift the energy on the park. So it's a difficult one, because you've also got to remember with how he's gone in this test match in particular, you are probably going to want him to be playing almost all of those test matches against India as well. So it might be a little bit of look to the future, but you've got to win this test match right now. So at the moment, he's probably your biggest threat.
Between lunch and tea on day 3, Sri Lanka added 102 runs in 31 overs, didn't lose a wicket. How crucial a session might that be? And was that a session perhaps the Black Caps could have done more in?
Yeah, it probably comes back to exactly that. They probably did need to use Will O'Rourke and a couple of extra spells, whether it's 2 overs, just to try and increase that intensity. Yep. Barani and Chandamal batted beautifully, didn't they? So they were put under a lot of pressure, mainly because they were actually on the aggressive side. They actually didn't let the likes of Glenn Phillips or Ajaz Patel really settle, and they really put them under pressure, knowing that spin was going to be a threat. I thought Connor Ratner was exceptional. The way he reverse swept out of the rough and was able then to rock back and hit against the spin to those gaps, and also use the sweep shot effectively. So, yeah, it's one of those things. If you're trying to bowl in an area and the batsman doesn't let you, and they have the skills to be able to negate your plans, it can be a bit challenging to find a hole in the armoury. And for Sri Lanka, yeah, I think that session has put them in a really good position. But before that, I think New Zealand let themselves down. They had a really, really good opportunity overnight to come out and put a massive lead on the board. And they just looked like they were getting some momentum. And then Tom Blundell, got caught on the gloves. And then Daryl Mitchell was so slow off the mark. I don't know if it looked like that on the TV, but was standing on his bat and was really slow off the mark. And it was an unnecessary run out, in all honesty. Should have been an easy single. So that was probably the turning point. And once you get a couple of spinners who are very good in these conditions, they seem to be able to mop up the tail real quick.
Yeah, you look at New Zealand's first innings scorecard, Mitch. Everybody in the top 7 got to double figures. To varying degrees, they all look good, but all failed to kick on. Tom Latham's 70, the top score. How much do you reckon that's going to hurt New Zealand as they try to seek victory in this test match, or even now try to make sure that they're not on the losing end of it?
Yeah, look, I think with the conditions the way they were, they should have been able to push for 400 plus. And, you saw how Glenn Phillips came out and batted at the end. If he had a batting partner there with him, it could have been a massive score. And I think Tom Latham and Kane will be particularly disappointed with themselves. They've done all the hard work. And at that point, that partnership that they had, they were dominating. And the same kind of energy we saw from New Zealand late last night, where they just didn't look like they felt that they were in the game. Sri Lanka had lost all hope when they were batting together. So, yeah, there are probably a couple of missed opportunities. I mean, Kane Williamson's been so great lately, hasn't he? I think that's the 10th time he's gone past 50 since December 2022, and it's only the second time he's failed to convert it to 100. And I mean, we have high expectations of him, don't we?
Indeed, and he continues to deliver on them. What about days 4 and 5? Mitch, how much is this wicket turning? And the second part is, how much is chaseable in the fourth innings?
Yeah, really good question. The wicket's definitely turning far more out of Will O'Rourke's foot marks. So you would have seen the degree of turn yesterday was another degree and a half more than it was on day 1 and day 2. But that was mainly due to the fact that the New Zealand bowlers, Ajaz and Patel in particular, was trying to get it out of the foot marks. So that's going to be challenging to score runs if they really try and dry up the scoring in the last innings. I think day 4, it'll be really interesting to see how New Zealand come out. The really positive thing about this test match is that day 4 is actually going to be on day 5. And it's going to give our bowlers an extra day to have a bit of a rest and come out firing. And the new ball's not far away. So that's going to be huge as well. The new ball's only 8 overs away. So I'm hoping with the day off, a new ball early in the session on day 4, effectively day 5, that New Zealand will be able to break open this partnership. And to be honest, from all the numbers that they throw out in the com box, the Sri Lankan commentators who I'm with said that Sri Lanka's probably almost got enough. So they're going to have to make quick work of trying to get those wickets early, because on Gaul, what they say is that on day 4, it's okay up until lunch to bat. But once after that, day 4 and day 5, it really does start to crumble and deteriorate, and it's very difficult to score runs.
All right, challenging couple of days ahead for the Black Caps. Mitch, great to get your analysis. Loving your commentary over there, mate. Thanks for taking the time for a chat.
Not a problem.
That's Mitchell McClenaghan, part of the commentary team that's bringing coverage of this test match from Galle, day 4 after the rest day yesterday, underway at 4:30 this afternoon, New Zealand time. Sri Lanka resumed 237 for 4 in their second innings. That is a lead of 202. At the crease, Angelo Matthews unbeaten on 34, and Dhananjaya De Silva, the captain, also there on 34 not out, a lead of 202. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see Sri Lanka's approach. I guess they'll obviously want to win the test match. How long do they need to leave themselves? It'll continue to turn, as you heard Mitchell McClenaghan say. I guess New Zealand can take the decision out of Sri Lanka's hands by just running through them and trying to bowl them out for not too many more. What did Mitch say? A lot of Sri Lankan commentators believe they have enough already, that 200's too much to chase. But I think you'd be pretty gutsy to pull out with 6 sessions of cricket left and only 200 runs to defend. Get the feeling Sri Lanka will try at least to get through to lunch and then probably the middle part of the second session, and maybe then think about pulling pin, give themselves 4 and a bit sessions to bowl New Zealand out and take a 1-0 lead in this 2-match series. We wait and see. Updating live sport from Hamilton, where Waikato are 22-10 ahead of Tasman with 20 minutes to go in their Bunnings MPC match. That was a 1:05 kickoff. The game switch kicked off just after 2, about 15-20 minutes in. Auckland 7-0 ahead of Southland at Eden Park, and Otago 7-0 ahead of Manawatu at Central Energy Trust Arena in Palmerston North.
For more from Weekend Sport with Jason Pine, listen live to News Talk ZB weekends from midday or follow the podcast on iHeartRadio.